most, all of it, the integration of all these individual pieces. Because as, we've talked about, with the work that we do making drones, we have like one little electrical board that's super simple that we design. Yeah. Everything else is off the shelf components. So what is off the shelf for you versus what are you making yourself?
Well, back in 2006, in that time frame, I would order this little inverter called a BXA 302, and it's only rated at like 650 volts. It's postage stamp sized inverter. It was used for lighting on the space shuttle. And but it's although it's postage stamp size and it's rated at 650 volts, it puts out quite a spike of voltage to start a fluorescent lamp.
Yep.
And it runs on 3.5 volt batteries. It was made for that. So I bought that little inverter and I removed all the parts and soldered them back together point to point to get rid of the weight of the circuit board.
Wow.
Right.
Yep.
And I got rid of the transformer shape was called a Drummond ring. It's shaped like a button with a little ring around it. I removed the ring too. So it looked like a little button with some tiny parts. And that little transformer, that's how I made the 5 gram power supply at first. But I had to rewind the thing and change some of the parts to get full power through it. And it would burn out after a short while. But I got enough power pushed through that to fly the first one with onboard power. But it took, like I said, some modifications. About a year, or I don't know, quite a bit of modifications. It wasn't just off the shelf entirely. And then after that, I started making my own, more of my own transformer cores, grinding, cutting them from special ferrites, and adjusting everything a little at a time.
It sounds like you're not doing much of anything off the shelf. You're changing anything you get off the shelf. You're modifying.
Yes,
to
everything is
weight
made with like a Dremel tool and a lathe and
wow.
Yeah, special ordered custom parts.
Yeah, and just to give everyone a little bit of a visual, I could maybe even in like a second segment when we go out and do a demo, I can show a developer that we have with one of these Pixhawk 6E flight controllers. But one of these, with this plastic casing weighs 39 grams. And I guess to give somewhat of a visual, it's about that big, that tall. So going back to your aircraft, which this is different than the one that we just saw, but roughly speaking, same form factor, through video anyways. And we measured, we weighed it, and it was all said and done like 24 grams with the battery, with the transformer.
Complete steering, everything.
All steering,
yeah.
So if you're not at the cutting edge of, physics or, just technology, it almost seems like it's breaking physics with how light it is compared to, how big it is, right?
Right. It has to be very, very light. It follows physics exactly, but it's, it's unforgiving that way with what has to be done. Like, for instance, the newest circuits I'm making are like BGA 90 pin on a 4x4 millimeter chip. And I'm wiring, soldering wires to each pin, right?
Yeah, I think we have a photo.
Yeah, we'll have a photo that we'll be able to superimpose that or share as part of the content.
And with the resonator, that chip weighs 50 milligrams, right? I showed you on
when you first did that, how many times did you quote unquote mess that up? You had to make a lot of mistakes. I wish I did. I'd make a lot of mistakes, but crazy.
That chip, actually, I made only just a few. And I had to rework just a little. I don't know. I used to do aircraft welding when I was younger, and I've been doing this so much soldering that it just wasn't terribly hard. I know the tricks, I guess. How to solder without the techniques, how to solder.
The pictures that we post, people won't really grasp how intricate because it's
how small.
When you realize how small it is.
I said, "Can you see the bumps on this chip?" And none of you guys could see it.
Perfect vision. And there's literally 90 of them. We couldn't see
90 solders, 90 joints.
Only under the microscope. You can see
crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's clear as day in the microscope. It's like, how can you not see that?
Yeah.
And it makes you feel less than human, even though,
And if I was to remove the plastic and go with, what's it called, bare die technology, right? Just they weld stuff on there, like when they're making microchips, they weld the wires on. You could make it even lighter than that. if you had like a microchip making machines, they cost like $100 million, but
just get some friends over at ASML or TSMC.
There we go. Sure. So I mean, the weight of a flight controller can be only tens of milligrams maybe maybe if you go that far with it.
Right.